It's the big 1-0 here on Goku or Go Home. It's our 10th episode versary, and I, I just can't do this anymore, Phoup. You're in charge. Introduce us. I have to call my therapist. I have to get my life back together.
Oh, welcome to episode 10, guys. We were a little late on this one. Like I'd say a few months, right? My name is Phoup, and here's my buddy Alex. All he talks to his therapist. I'm gonna be telling you guys about what our show is. This is Goku or Go Home,
Doc, my
and
life is
this.
in shambles. I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, while he's doing that, Goku or Go Home is where me and my buddy here watch 4 episodes of Goku or Dragon Ball: The Life of Goku. We were supposed to do this every week, but Alex got a job.
I'm
So we're
being
like 3
pulled
months
in
late on
8
this.
different directions. I have a podcast, I have a job, I have social obligations, and then there was that thing with the mob that you told me that I shouldn't get involved with, but I did anyway.
But here we are today, guys. We're here to talk about our show.
Wait, I have a show to do. I'll have to call you back. Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. Right. Did you
You
did you
good?
do the intro?
Yeah, I did that intro.
Okay. We gotta get started. We're at what was it? Episode 37.
No.
Ninja Murasaki is coming. I love Ninja Murasaki. And it starts up with the narrator recapping the previous episode where the one with Major Metallotron, and he mentions that he tried to terminate Goku. And I was like, yeah, because he's
'Cause
totally Terminator reference.
I love it when shows reference each other, especially when they're like on the borderline of like copyright.
It's like, oh yeah, it's a loving parody, that's what it is. General White sends Murasaki off to defend the tower, and he describes him as the hottest shit. He's lethal, he's swift, he's silent, and they show him off with all these super ninja goons that really don't look like they belong in Dragon Ball. Like, they've got these metal claws and spikes and shoulder pads, and they really look like they belong in Fist of the North Star more than they belong in Dragon Ball. And General White even says, if you see him, then you are already dead. And I don't know if that was intentional, but I do like happy accidents, so I'm gonna chalk that up to a reference. But yeah, they are really building up Murasaki as the guy. He is the toughest dude. He's the coolest dude. And you just know that that means that he can't be any of those things.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to wait until we're done talking about him after the episode.
I
Oh man.
But anytime you have something you want to say, you just jump right in.
Oh man, Murasaki to me was a big joke.
Did you know that he was gonna be a big joke? Like,
I thought
at what
I
point did
thought
it connect?
basically the moment he talked.
I'm usually
'Cause-
willing to give Dragon Ball characters like a moment to introduce themselves or be silly because sometimes Goku will play off their big intro like,
Mhm.
"Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Could you do that again?" Like that sort of thing.
Yeah. But
So
no,
I
it's
usually
it's
give them an
because
introduction.
it's because like before when they before Murasaki actually entered when it was his turn,
Hmm.
he was kind of acting like Colonel Silver. He was looking a little no nonsense himself when he was up in the command center.
Hmm.
Until we got to this episode. Everything that I had like expectations of what kind of character he was gonna be was just out the window.
Well, you like that though. You like when they throw you a couple of
I
curveballs.
do like it, but I'm not saying I don't like this character.
Hmm.
They just got me again.
Right when you thought that you had it all figured out, they come up and they pull out the rug from under you.
Mhm.
Goku runs up into the next room of the tower, and it's all dark. And then he's attacked by like a boomerang blade. But Goku's the fucking chimp champ, and he's able to dodge it until he's hit by a rock. And, you can see a little bit inside, and it's like there's an entire forest inside this level of the tower. And I had mentioned this before, but Muscle Tower is way bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's an entire, like,
They got
scene. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a place.
It's like it's like each floor is like a giant football stadium. But then when it looks
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
outside of the building, it's like a water tower.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, there's like a football stadium's worth of content in each floor, but it does not look like it.
Mm-mm. Though I do like Murasaki's. This is like his own floor.
Yeah, he
Like
lives here.
like he lives here. Like I didn't realize this until we saw he had his own pond, his house.
An outhouse.
Yeah, an outhouse. Oh man.
You have an outhouse inside the tower, so it's not an outhouse. Who knows?
It's a simulation. I don't know.
It's a
Man.
simulation, yeah. There's some really good animation here of Goku dodging some ninja throwing knives, and he's not just jumping from place to place, like he's throwing his body after a dive. Like, they could have just been, Goku dodges, and then he like sidesteps or whatever. But no, he's like, and it's like realistic, and he's got to like throw his entire body through the tree and around, and
like there's physics behind his movement.
it's like choreographed. It's not a The lights turn on. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's inside, looks like outside, and has lights. And Murasaki introduces himself off screen. And when we finally see him, he chops a boulder so hard with his sword that it crumbles. Like, this isn't a clean cut like you see like a ninja or a samurai would do. This is just like whacking the rock with a club.
I didn't think about that too much. I was like, damn, that was a pretty good hit. Didn't actually think that the sword should have just sliced the rock.
I think that might have been a hint that maybe he's not what he seems, because, a ninja as skilled as him should have been able to cut through that rock, don't you think? But no, it's just like he whacked it with the side, it just crumbled. And Goku's like, my turn, and picks up a fucking rock. Like, he's ready to brick a bitch, which is not a direction I ever saw Goku taking, but here we are. It's like, Cain enable this motherfucker.
Little did you know, this becomes like a competition at this point, too. for the whole episode.
Murasaki's like, I'm too fast for you. And he starts dodging all over the place. And he's just like this purple smear bouncing through all the trees, and it's a fun look. I don't think we've seen a character do this sort of movement before. Yeah,
the blue smear, you usually just see after images to kind of show, like, wow, he's fast. But no, this is like you can actually see the swift.
Yeah, they're just like kind of painting him into the scene as just like a brush stroke. And Goku tries to follow him with his eyes, and then with a single throw, he just chucks that rock like Master Roshi did, and he just beans him out of the tree. He's like, I'm too fast, you'll never see me, and then pop! He hits him so hard, a photo of two girls in their underwear falls out of him, and he gets real flustered when Goku picks it up. And he has reason to be nervous, because that is a picture of General White's sisters.
Yeah. Oh, man. And Goku picks it up, looks at it, he's like, what is this?
And General White's like, oh, is that what you said? You said you were gonna show my sister the sights? Is that what you were doing? Like, if my boss ever found out that I was taking pictures of their sister, I don't think I would have a job.
I don't think you'd have a job either. What makes it better is that Murasaki finally, like, comes out from, like,
That's
hiding.
What he does.
And he's yelling, "Give it back!"
He's not hiding or anything. He's just like standing in front of Goku, like
he's like demanding it back. Like give it back, give me. And then when he grabs it back, he's like, "Do you have no shame taking someone else's property?"
Like, yeah, there's that. So he's hypocritical, but afterwards he takes back the photos and he's like, thanks, and then here, smoke bomb, bitch. And then we are back to square zero. Like, the whole sequence was just for that goof. Nothing happened. I love it for that. He is back to being fucking in the trees and he's gone.
Silent but deadly.
Yeah, silent but deadly.
I think that's what they called it.
Mm-hmm. Murasaki starts talking a big game about how he's invisible, but then Goku points out that he's behind an American flag up against a
That
tree.
this scene was like so out of context. I bet Goku doesn't even know what flag that is from, unless this country actually exists in this universe.
Well, there was the American newspaper that Krillin was reading on the way over to the
Oh,
tournament.
you're right. You're right.
But yeah, the thing that I noted was it's not a Japanese flag or some made-up Dragon Ball nation, just some goddamn red, white, and blue stars and stripes all American flag. And Murasaki is shocked that they printed the flag wrong because it was supposed to be wooden on both sides. And I'm like, that's not how a flag works. You don't just have it printed. It's like stitched.
Yeah,
And it's a mirror
yeah.
image.
But what made me laugh even more was when he was like, tell mom to print both sides of the wood. So when he flips it over to the tree side, it looks nothing like the tree
Yep.
still. It's like the wrong shade.
Wrong shade,
Everything.
wrong pattern, wrong everything. And he's like, see, now I'm invisible. And General White, who is still monitoring the situation, is like, oh my god, he's a moron. The ninja shenanigans continue as he essentially tells Goku to play hide and seek, and Goku just plays along with it because, weirder things have happened today for him. He's fought a giant robot,
Mm-hmm.
He almost got frozen to death. It's okay. He starts counting while Murasaki runs off to hide, but once Goku hits 25, he has to stop and ask, what comes after 25? Because Goku doesn't know what comes after 25.
While Goku was counting too, did you see how much running Masaki did?
He's all over the place.
He's all over the place. And I thought this man was never going to be found until Goku turns around. And he's only 10 feet away behind him, trying to get under a rock.
A rock that's been hollowed out.
Yeah, hollowed out.
But not only that, but it's not that Goku can't count past 25. It's he gets to 25, gets hung up on 26, and then remembers 27 onward. For whatever reason, he cannot count 26. But yeah, he sees Murasaki try to get under this rock, and he's like, oh, do you need help? And they go back and forth on how to count, and Goku is an idiot and needs help, and Dragon Ball is a good show, and this is a good sequence. So again, Murasaki runs off to hide, and when Goku finishes counting, he goes looking for him, even checking the stinky outhouse that we had mentioned earlier, but he's not in there.
So, just a little off track here with that outhouse. I waited till we got to this point. I made shit. I've used the outhouses. I've used the holes in on the floor and all that.
Sides
But
of trucks.
this outhouse, child will fall in like Goku. This was the biggest hole I've ever seen.
Listen, my main man Murasaki, he's got big shits, okay?
and remember, this is like the 4th floor or something like that.
Where does it go?
Where's it going?
And this is his choice, because we have seen actual toilets.
Yeah.
He just wanted an outhouse.
And I know this man is like standing above it because he has a pair of ghettos on both sides of this hole, and this hole is at least 3 to maybe even 4 to 5 feet wide.
Oh, I don't think it's that wide, but it's pretty wide.
Like 3 or 4 max.
It's pretty wide.
Maybe it's because it looked bigger when Goku stood next to it.
Goku is pretty small at this point, yes.
Yeah, but it was pretty big, guys.
Goku even goes inside his little ninja house, and he finds a secret panel in the floor, but it's filled with dirty magazines. But Goku's been at the Kame house for a while now, and I'm sure he stumbled across Master Roshi's stash, so...
Man, that's actually...
It's
that was
under
a
the
big
floor.
Stash. Yeah, it's under the floor.
And Goku
I thought
looks
he
at
actually found him under the floor, but I guess this was just
another
as much
goof.
as I should have expected. Yeah, another goof.
And the thing that I like about it is, Goku's holding up the tatami mat, and he looks at it, and he goes, huh, And then he puts it away. Guess he's not here.
I wonder how deep that hole is. Do you think it's like flat because it's just paper, or
No,
do you think
I
it's like a big storage,
I think
like
it's
good
like a
storage?
bin, like it's got depth to it.
Ah,
I think he just got a bunch of stuff piled down there. It's pretty great. Goku hears something breathing when he goes outside, and we find Murasaki under the water in a pond, breathing through a reed. A classic ninja move, ripe for classic ninja shenanigans. And so, Goku grabs a tea kettle from the stove and pours boiling water down the reed, which forces him up out of the pond.
this is probably Goku's like first actual murder attempt.
I'm seeing this more of like a Home Alone trap almost.
I could see that definitely. The
Except
sound that
Goku's the one breaking into their house.
the sound that he makes while breathing through that tube brought back like a childhood memory of trying to do this too.
Hmm.
It was the same exact sound. They got it perfectly
Yeah,
too.
no,
Yeah,
I agree. That was a flawless uh snorkel, whatever you.
like through something
Yeah,
like hollow. Too.
maybe they were just like blowing through like a PVC pipe or something to kind of
Yeah.
recreate that. Murasaki claims that he is done playing games and challenges Goku to keep up with his incredible speed. He's thinking that this is going to be child's play, but we both know that Goku is like super fast at this point, so this
Yeah.
isn't going to take very long.
As Murasaki is also running through like the field, right, or the forest, did you
Hmm.
notice the sound it makes
No,
while he's running? It was the same sound they used for the jets,
oh, was
which I
it?
thought was really funny.
Oh, he's fast.
But
And
they never really made that noise for Goku. What he
no,
said. It's just
whenever he runs, it's always like a like it's
yeah.
a pitter patter kind of sound.
Yeah.
And for someone claiming to be the most deadly person in Muscle Tower, Murasaki has not attempted to fight Goku directly.
No, not at all.
And I know that ninjas are all about stealth and stuff like that, but still, The chase ensues, and we have a fun version of Mystic Adventure start playing,
Mhm.
and we get some dope ass shots of how the two navigate the forest. Murasaki spins and he dodges around trees, and then he even cuts one up into chunks. Like he's not missing a beat. Like he's doing pretty well. He's in his element. And meanwhile, Goku like bumps and twirls and jumps about the branches like a monkey, and like it shows their two styles really well. Like I really like that detail. Again, it's
Hip
like
champ.
you're putting in the extra little character touches that are like we can tell more about who these people are without dialogue, and I always thought that was kind of cool. Murasaki cheats, of course, and he throws some spike balls behind him, making Goku step on them and hurt his feet. But while Murasaki gloats, Goku steals his wooden sandals. Goku turns more and more to crime every episode, and I cannot condone his treacherous ways. What happened to the nice boy that we once knew?
I don't know. I think Goku should keep that look though. I think he looks pretty good with those wooden sandals on like a samurai.
Yeah, he does have a nice look, and it's one of those things where Goku keeps a pretty consistent look throughout the entire franchise.
Hmm.
But anytime there's like special covers to the manga or just different drawings that Akira Toriyama's made, sometimes he likes putting Goku in different outfits.
Oh,
And so
that's
you'll
cool.
see shit like this where like, oh, Goku's dressed up as like a Chinese soldier, or Goku's dressed up like a mechanic or something, and it looks fun.
I'm gonna have to search some of that. That sounds really fun, like you
Hmm.
said. Actually, I don't know about you, but watching Goku run in those wooden sandals looked so hard. I don't know if you ever try to run in the in like flip flops or
They
sandals, but
they
that's the
they do look
hardest thing.
Yeah, they do look really difficult. Although I was like, isn't that? I feel like there's like Naruto characters that wear stuff like this and run at incredible speeds too.
Hmm.
The chase continues to ridiculous extremes at this point, like where they're running, each step is only one frame apart because they're like, oh fuck, he's so fast, I gotta, I gotta get away from him. And
The
this is
music
where
is even like speeding up to their pace as well.
I always like when stuff like that happens. Goku overtakes Murasaki, and like at this point, he's just having a good time. He does a little victory jig. He's like dancing around. And General White is not happy about watching all of this happen. And he's like, I want Goku dead now. Like, why are you doing all of this? And they're jonesing for a fight. And we get this absolutely raw exchange as Murasaki draws his blade and he says, Oblivion awaits you. And Goku responds with, Who's that? Is he on the next floor? And that's fucking raw.
Yeah. I even had to jot that down too in case. There was no way I was gonna forget regardless.
Yeah, that's, I want that cross stitched on a little like thing above on my front door. This is the part. Murasaki leaps into the air to perform an aerial strike on Goku, but Goku's just like, dope! And he plants the power pole into the ground and he takes one step back, so Murasaki can have it shoved right up his ass. And we get the triple take. Like, it crams so far up there. We see it 3 times. And then he starts running around and jumping, and it is stuck.
Yeah, it is. And part of my favorite. I mean, what my favorite scene to this part is when it cuts to General White, and he doesn't even say anything.
I do have a note about it.
He just breaks like a little sweat. Just. Ugh.
Murasaki's freaking out. He's running all around, and he accidentally knocks it like against a tree as he's panicking, and it jostles up his insides a little bit, and it makes it look like it hurt him. But I mean, that thing's crammed right up against his prostate. Like, that dude's enjoying it. Goku's absolutely loving this. He's rolling on the floor. He's literally rolling on the floor and laughing. But he needs his pole back, so he just pops it out like it goes. And General White, yes, this is where it cuts to General White. He is looking on, and he's not saying anything, and he sweats a little bit, and a blush grows across his face, and I think he might have been into watching it.
Oh, man. I don't know. I can't imagine being General White, man.
Listen, all he wanted was results.
He wanted results. Is General White paying this guy, or is the big boss man paying these guys?
Oh, they all probably, you get paid by your boss, he gets paid by his boss, that sort of thing.
Gosh.
But, like, remember when I told you that this episode had had a sequence with the power pole, and I'm like, oh, I definitely remember Murasaki. Murasaki, like, stood out to me in a way that, like, even after a few years, vividly, I remember the Murasaki sequence. This is why. This bullshit with him. They get back to the fight, and Goku breaks Murasaki's sword with the power pole.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, fuck everything else. Power pole's where it's at. With his back against the wall, Murasaki lies and is like, oh, come on, I'm unarmed. You wouldn't fight me. You shouldn't fight an unarmed man. That's not fair. Come on, I'm just a little guy. Come on. But then, he's totally got a boomerang blade behind his back. And Goku notices in time, and he's like, hey, you lied to me. That's not very nice. I can't stay mad at Goku. I'm like, oh man, Goku, you shouldn't be stealing things from people. Then I'm like, the worst thing about him being attacked was that he was lied to. And that's cute.
Yeah. But I was thinking that I knew that boomerang wasn't going to do anything regardless.
Oh, well, they tried to sell it. The boomerang circles back around and it hits Goku square in the back of the head, making the screen go white, and it knocks him to the floor.
That was a really cool transition, though. That was like a good dramatic effect.
It also helps that the sound effect that they had was like all meaty and wet and gross. But like, at the very least, the boomerang bounced off the back of his head instead of sticking into his skull like Chi-Chi's blade on Master Roshi. Like, that one was bad. You knew that one was bad. Maybe it would have been too violent to happen to the main character,
Maybe. Master Roshi just stood there with it in his head, too.
he doubled over until they, like, pulled it out. Murasaki is declared the victor by General White, and they close out the episode by going, oh no, is Goku dead? You'll have to watch the next episode to find out. And I'm like, listen, we've seen Goku go through worse getting here. I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
Which leads us into episode 38, which is 5 Murasakis. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this part because the fucking power pole shenanigans, like, overrode it. And it's real small, but I do like how this one started off, specifically with the title card. You get these blade slashes, like, at the screen before they reveal the title, which, of course, was
I saw that.
5 Murasakis. So you know, like, oh shit, more Ninja Murasaki shit.
I think there's 2 ninjas. 2 out of there's 5, right? Yeah. No, we'll get to that point. I'll talk a bit more about it in a second.
All right. Also, I don't know if you've been keeping track, but so far we've had 2 separate ninja characters on this show, and they've both been great. We've had Ninja Murasaki and Shu.
Mm-hmm.
Shu's also a ninja, and also
Yeah.
has shenanigans, and is also fantastic. Also, anytime Goku's been knocked out on the show, he's usually lying face down in what I can only describe as a frog position. Like, his arms and legs are out at, like, 90-degree angles.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is, like, the Dragon Ball's comparable fall to, like, the Family Guy collapse. You know, like when a Family Guy character
yeah.
falls over and they had that pose? Like, this is the Dragon Ball version of it.
Where the body tumbles over. You just.
It's exactly that, like that.
It's a good comparison, actually. I never really thought about that.
You'll see it, like, there's more characters. Usually it's a comedy kind of fall, but, like, they'll just lay face first in the dirt, arms and legs out at, like, 90-degree angles, and they do look like a frog, almost. But yeah, General White is watching him over the monitor, and he's really only interested in the results, like I said. But he is the first to notice that, of course, Goku really isn't dead. And Goku gets up, and Murasaki is just absolutely shocked, but also embarrassed in the sense of, like, if someone saw that he didn't actually kill him in one hit, his reputation would be tarnished. So he was like, dude, what the fuck? Get back down on the ground, you're scaring the hose!
Murasaki's career is over, I believe, when he lost that race. That foot race.
Everything that Murasaki has done, Goku has shown to do it better.
Yeah.
And I want to say that General White has taken notice of this, because, like, before he was like, oh man, an entire army of goons and we can't capture one boy, maybe I should have him join my army. But later on in this sequence, I want to say he does, like, hey, you did a really good job, work for me. You're better than that loser ninja. Goku's pissed now because that hurt, that actually hurt him. And he starts chasing Murasaki, who gives one of the best fear screams I think anyone's ever given in this show.
Dude was horrified.
You know, he's a grown-ass man, and he shrieks like a little girl character. Murasaki throws some ninja stars at Goku before running into his little house, and Goku collects them to throw right back at him.
Which
And
I thought was going to be sick. Like, seeing Goku throw ninja stars.
oh yeah, but I absolutely loved this little back and forth that we get. Goku throws the ninja stars, Murasaki blocks them by pulling up his tatami mats, which might seem impressive, and he's like, ha, out of stars, and Goku's like, nope, and he just spikes one into his fucking skull. And there's just this beat of him, like, eyes bulged out, ninja star wedged into his fucking dome, and he's just sitting there, like, in shock. And, like, he's just getting clowned on at this point.
He was even talking about how he should have bought the full set of
Yeah.
tatami mats. He's like, I should have got the full set. 5, what was I thinking? I should have just got the 6 set.
Why couldn't he just have reused one of the ones he had already pulled up?
That's what I was also trying to figure out too.
The answer is because everyone in Dragon Ball world is a fucking moron. He's still going, though. I gotta give him props for that.
Yeah.
This is the first scene that we have actually seen the fucking mayor, the village elder, the chief, that Goku's been trying to rescue. And he's just some old dude. And my main note here is, he's kind of full of himself.
A little bit.
He's
What
like,
will
the village can't
village
go on.
do without me?
Yeah, my village can't go on without my guidance. And I'm like, if it weren't for the army, like we've seen Suno's family, they've been doing just fine.
Yeah.
Like, to be completely transparent about all of this, I have completely forgotten about this guy since watching these episodes.
I I actually did not know who he was at first
No,
when
of
we
course
saw
not.
him
This is the
again.
first time you
Yeah.
see him.
Yeah. But I didn't pay too much mind to him. I paid more attention to the guard that came in. Because
I
it
did
looked
like
like
that
a
guy.
bigger version of Shu.
Yeah, I love that. And like, he, he's like, "Here's your food, you old man." Like he had kind of like a southern accent or something. And he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I refuse to eat. I'd rather starve while you're occupying my village." And he's like, "Fucking whatever. All right."
Suit yourself.
No skin off my nose. God.
But the mayor did hear noises going on below him.
No, you.
He's like, what's going on down there anyways, after he just told the guard to fuck off.
Fuck off. Also, hey, you want to talk? I'm lonely.
And the guard's like, yeah, a kid just snuck in.
Yeah, a child.
And then this is the mayor's like doing cruel stuff to an old man, but to a child?
Yeah. I mean,
But-
I get that he doesn't know who Goku is or whatever.
Yeah. Goku's having a blast.
Oh,
without
he's having
mayor
the time
even
of his
knowing
life.
it. Yeah.
Back with the Goku Murasaki skirmish, Goku has chased him over an indoor pond, but that pond is filled with piranhas. Not only that,
Pajamas.
but Murasaki goes into a whole breakdown of what a piranha is because Goku does not know what a piranha is.
he, he thought instead of piranhas, Goku heard pajama.
Yep.
And that just like agitated Murasaki even more. So he yells louder across the pond.
Yeah,
And
he has
Goku
to shout.
just cannot hear anything.
He's like, "Oh, how about a demonstration of how voracious they are?" And he tosses this big meaty fish into the water, only to have it stripped to the bone. And Goku is shocked. And Murasaki is also shocked. He's like, "Oh shit. I didn't think they were that bad."
Did I just walk over that?
Yeah. And that's the other thing, because like he took all that time to put on like the water shoes so he could walk on the surface of the water. And like the pond is relatively small, all things considered. And Goku's fast, Goku'd probably run around and be fine.
Mm.
But Goku's just like, "Fuck that noise," and just jumps over the pond.
You know what I thought he was gonna do? I remember watching Sonic X as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Eggman came up with a plan similar to Murasaki, where he's like, "Oh, let's go have a fight at a lake, Sonic, because Sonic can't swim."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Just try coming over, Sonic. I know you can't swim." So Sonic just runs around the lake. Eggman just stares at him. He's like, "Well, I didn't really think that far ahead."
To be honest, I didn't
So
think I'd make it this far.
So I thought that's what Goku was gonna do too. But jumping across seems more Goku-like anyways.
Hey, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And yeah, that pisses off Murasaki, and he is now ready to use his ultimate technique. He whistles, and the sky turns this purple color before making some, like, Naruto gang signs. And he gets this bitchin' pink, like, tendril aura. He is literally dripping that steez. He's got that drip. And he clenches, and he grunts a whole lot, and he goes, "Now, separation!" And he splits off into 4 other Murasakis, and they are all chanting, "Kill the boy! Kill the boy!" And Goku, he's seen the after image technique being used before, but it's nothing like this. So he tries to figure out which one's the real one, but they all seem to be the real one. And one has a gun.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
The ancient ninja art of the gun.
That's one of the ninjas. I wanted to mention. He has a gun.
I don't know why that's such a funny concept to me.
I was waiting It's just funny because you thought you thought it was gonna be like Ninja Gaiden, where they're all gonna have like the typical ninja weapons.
The claw or the sword or the chain sickle or
Yeah,
all those cool things. And then he just pulls out a gun.
which is fair enough, I guess.
He's got that strap.
I thought they were gonna push the line. I don't know if Naruto. I don't know when it comes to patenting phrases, you know.
Hmm.
But I thought they were gonna yell, just not give a shit, and just say Shadow Clone Jutsu while they were doing this transition.
I don't know. Like jutsu's not a that's not a Naruto copyright thing. Do you think? Is it?
I'm thinking more of like that whole phrase alone.
Yeah.
Shadow Clone Jutsu. Yeah,
I
I don't
think
know.
I think back when this show was initially airing, that was a little too Asian. You know how they would change the names of certain things or whatever. So maybe there is a special like
They probably would have just
Tien has this
changed
one
it.
move. Tien has this one move called that we called the tri beam.
Yeah,
Because he puts his hands together into like a triangle shape and it shoots the blast out. In Japanese, it's called the kikoho,
that sounds sick.
and it's pretty cool. But for a fact that early 2000s America, they weren't gonna call it the kikoho. They're like, that's too foreign. Let's localize this a little bit. His hands are a
I like
triangle.
both of
Tri beam, yeah, tri beam.
them. No, I think both names are pretty good.
I like both. I know that there are
Yeah,
some like Dragon Ball purists that are like, it's the Kikoho or it's the Makan Kosapo.
Jesus.
Now, can you remember Makan Kosapo or can you remember Special Beam Cannon? Right.
Fair enough.
I keep getting sidetracked by thinking about Dragon Ball. Let's talk about Dragon Ball. We cut back to Suno and her family for a bit, and she's worried about Goku. And her mom just straight up lies to her face. Like, she can't know that Goku will be fine. The boy's fighting for his life up in Muscle Tower. Don't get her hopes up like that. She's like, oh yeah, don't worry. He's fine. It's like, I'm half expecting her to say, like, oh yeah, he left Muscle Tower. He's all fine. He went north to a nice, pleasant farm, and he gets to be with all the animals. And just like what you would tell someone when, what happened to my guinea pig? Oh, that's right. He went to the happy place.
It's dead, Alex. Your guinea pig's dead.
But no, my guinea pig he went to space. He joined the astronaut program.
Oh man, there's two types of parents out there who'll be like they're dead, or just tries to lay them easily. They get easy.
Nah, I don't know. I don't plan on becoming a parent anytime soon. So thankfully, I don't have to cross that bridge.
I don't think so either.
I do remember, however, like late middle school, early high school, I had a home ec class that really was just like whatever. You learned a little bit of everything. And one of them was a like taking care of children part of it. And I remember I took a quiz on the computer that it was just like to get your opinions on sorts of things.
Yeah.
And the question was, at what age should you tell a child that someone that they know died?
Really?
And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable answering this question. But yeah, I was like 7th, 8th grade, somewhere in that range, and like little 3-year-old Timmy, his mother passed away in a horrific car accident. How do you tell him? I'm like, bro, don't ask me. I'm like 10 years older than that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a question that I'm assuming stuck with you for a while.
I don't know how to answer that question now.
Yeah, I only have one question that made me like sat there for 30 minutes, and it was just a comprehension one. Just way off topic. It was, what's considered a foot? A 12-inch measurement, a human foot, or a cat's paw? And I'm not allowed to cheat during the test on the computer, but I had to. I poked at my buddy. Can you look at this question for me? Because everyone got different questions.
Hmm.
And then there's just me and him just sitting there during class, during test time,
What's a foot?
figuring out what's a foot? What do they want?
What? What is a foot? A unit of measurement? A cat's paw? Or something that girls need to send me on Twitter? What? What? What's that third one? Who made this? Man, feet people are weird. Listen, I'm not ashamed. I'm willing to say that publicly. Feet people are weird. We were talking about Dragon Ball again.
Yeah, we were talking about Dragon Ball. Don't worry.
Suno's dad comes home. He has a bitchin' mustache. Like, this thing is thick. It's huge. And blue. Like, he's got, like, this cool, like, muted, dark blue hair. And I'm like, I think I like everything about this guy. And he drops a hint for something coming up. That there is some thing in the tower that isn't human and is incredibly dangerous. Which is exciting. And for the first time in this fucking fight, when we cut back to Goku, he's on the back foot. He's just trying to dodge and hide from all those Murasaki fools as he tries to figure out how to beat them. And then it's revealed that the reason why all the Murasakis are able to do so many different things at once and, like, talk to each other and plan is because they are not 5 clones of the same Murasaki, but 5 brothers. Did you see that twist coming?
I kind of expected it because each clone did sound a little bit different to me. And I was on the mark when they were introducing each other. Because the 5th one had a southern accent.
Yeah. And then he corrects himself.
I'm the 5th.
And I'm the 5th. Like, I'm the 5th one.
And I thought he was going to break character again later. But that was the only time he broke character.
I am so happy that they did, like, the screw up on the last one. I kind of want to know if in the original Japanese version, did he have, like, some kind of other accent before really correcting himself? Like, did he have, like, a Kansai accent or something?
I feel like it would have been better if they kept it the same, but pure Japanese, like, duh.
Oh, so they kept the original line in Japanese?
It's just Japanese, and it's suddenly, and I'm the 5th, and then back to Japanese.
Like, no, excuse me, sorry. Now that Goku knows that he's fighting 5 dudes instead of just 1, he feels a lot more confident and tricks them with his own afterimage, easily busting most of them up. Like, for some reason, he just needed that, like, little extra bit of knowledge. Fighting 5 clones, that's impossible. But fighting 5 separate dudes, that's easy. One of the brothers is appalled that he knows the afterimage technique, and they don't. He's like, he actually knows how to do it. We're so fucked. Goku easily dispatches them and then backs the real Murasaki into a corner. Where we cut back away to Suno's dad explaining how he's heard a groaning monster coming from Muscle Tower. And we get this shadowy view of an honest-to-God chained up Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Murasaki runs up the stairs and opens the cage of the Frankenstein and calls him Android number 8. And it's just a legit goddamn Frankenstein, and the series continues to impress. Like, the episode closes out with him looking ready to square up with Goku, and this is an awesome image that I think all episodes need to end on. Like, I'm thinking now, Goku versus the Wolfman, Goku versus the Mummy, Goku versus a Dracula. Like, these are matchups just waiting to happen. It is a very striking image, to say the least.
I remember the dad with the mustache. There's this one quote for some reason when he said there's no human in that tower, and it always goes back to that bigger shoe. I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a non-human in there.
there is definitely. You know, I think that's the fake out. Because they're like, oh, there's a monster. It's not human. And then, you know, you see Android number 8 and this Frankenstein monster. But was he talking about that?
Uh,
Maybe not.
see, I did like this Franken.
Yes, episode 39, Mysterious Android number 8, starts off with a thunderstorm that rolls in and gives everything super striking lighting.
Mhm.
Android 8 looks super bomb ass in these high contrast shadows. Like, he legit looks like a monster. And he's also pretty freaking huge. Probably not as big as Metallitron, but
No,
he looks more cartoony than Metallitron does. Like, he looks like a cartoon Frankenstein guy.
yeah,
I think it works really well for
he's.
him, though.
It's like how can I explain this? Terminator was a little bit more sharp, mean looking, while Frankenstein was big, but he was more kind of like bubbly, cartoony, like
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah.
hmm There was a more realistic look to the Terminator. Metallitron's. You got me saying it now. You got a more realistic look to like his facial details. He looked more like sketched in, and yeah, sharp is a good way of saying it. And then Android number 8 has like these half circles for eyes. Like, he's got very big expressive eyes and this big square head that doesn't have as much detail on it. But yeah, I think it looks great. And he's all chained up too. And just as a courtesy, he asks to be unchained. But when Murasaki can't find the keys, he's just like, yeah, check this shit out. Chunk! And snaps the chains off. Because that shit can't hold Frankenstein.
He first breaks off the ones on his wrist, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna snap the chain apart. No, the part that holds his wrist shatters, and then the ones on his ankles, it just dissipates. And then I was like, oh, he's done. And then it goes to the one on his neck, and he just flexes his neck,
He
and it just
flexes
turns
his
into
neck.
thin air.
How do you do that? How do you flex your neck to break steel? And to cap it all off, the second Murasaki orders him to kill Goku, we learn that Android 8 does not like fighting. He hates violence, and he wants to sit this one out. And I'm like, yes!
Murasaki points at Android 8, right?
Mhm.
He's like, kill the child. Frankenstein's reply was, I'd rather not. Murasaki was
You see,
slowly turns around. He's like, what did you say? It's like, I don't condone violence.
yeah, he's pretty soft spoken, all things considered. Like, he's got kind of a deep voice, but I really don't like violence. I really wish you two would stop fighting. Ah, he's great. I really should just make like a Dragon Ball character tier list at some point, but like, Ader's up there. He's
Ader.
like up there with Nam.
Ader is the nickname Goku gives him later, but just like Goku, I'm probably not going to keep calling him Android number 8.
Yeah. I use Frankenstein pretty liberally early here, but then switch to Ader.
That's literally what he looks like. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of references already with the Frankenstein where Murasaki's like, you have to obey me. I created you, or something like that.
We're your master. We created you. But that's the other thing. Like, I'm not about to get into this argument with anyone in the future about like, actually, you're talking about Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was the scientist. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Everyone knows. Everyone would know what you're talking about.
Yeah. If I say, oh, look, it's a Frankenstein, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Get that shit out of here.
It's kind of like with copyright. There was this one scene I saw on these shorts of Family Guy, and all the characters like, oh yeah, I want to go to like Burger Queens or McDonald's, and Quagmire's like, we all know what we're talking about, guys. We all know. Just say it.
He's like addressing the audience. Like,
Yeah.
we all know what you're talking about. Murasaki is not happy about Android 8 wanting to not fight. He's like, yeah, this is where he's like, oh, we built you. You refuse to fight? And not only that, He is so autonomous, he straight up thinks that what they're doing is simply wrong. He's like, you're trying to take over the world. That's wrong. And I'm like, this robot's perfect. He's based.
He's certainly a lot nicer than the robot that helped fly Goku towards the north.
It's true. I bet that if Colonel Silver like had access to that robot during a fight with Goku, it would have wanted to kill Goku. It's like, yes, time to kill.
It's either he'll kill Goku, or he'll kill Goku and be like, "It's not because you told me to kill Goku, though."
Listen, at the chance to kill any worthless meatbags, I will gladly do so. Murasaki threatens to kill Android 8 by telling him that they built a bomb inside of him, and Android 8 doesn't give a fuck. He's like, well, you might have a bomb inside me, but I'm still not going to hurt him. He's a child. And I'm like, man, he's even better than I thought. Like, even under duress, he's not going to do it.
He will go down dying at what he believes in, which is sick. And Murasaki jumps away with the button that will blow him up, and you just see Ader just preparing.
He's ready.
He's ready to go. But Goku wasn't about to let it happen, which was sick.
Yeah, Goku notices that Android 8's innocent in all of this. He's like, oh, he's a monster. Oh, wait, no, he's not a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they take away the device before they can get blown up. And with a single punch, Goku finally knocks Murasaki the fuck out. Like, he knocks him out. Giving them a moment just to shoot the shit. They're just like, hey, you're big. Like you're small. Android 8 reveals that he doesn't fight because he's scared to. And you know what? That's fair. If you're afraid of fighting, you shouldn't have to. It's no big deal. And this is where Goku goes into trash talking mode. He's like, man, your name's Android number 8? That's a weird name. You got a shit name, dog. Android 8? Fucking nerd name. And that's where he does come up with Ader. Or, he gets the idea for it.
Yeah.
And then Android 8's like, bro, what about the mayor? And then Goku remembers the whole reason why he's here in the first place. And I'm like, it's okay, Goku. I totally forgot about the mayor. By this point. He was just in the last episode, and I didn't give a shit about him.
This is when he was in the maze, right?
Yeah, when he goes up to the next floor, he finds the maze.
Yeah, so we're at the maze now. And all you see is Goku running around constantly in this maze. He's desperate, but I thought he was literally just gonna run through each wall.
I think I've got a note of that. My first note says, it doesn't take long before we start doing Scooby-Doo shit.
Yeah. But what makes it even better was when I was taking a drink, I almost spit out my drink when it cut to General White looking at the map of the maze. The easiest maze another child other than Goku would probably be able to solve.
Yeah.
And I even paused it to look at the maze to make sure that Goku running in circles was accurate. And
you actually did.
Yeah. it was actually accurate. He was actually running in circles.
Okay. Well, Goku's getting pissed that he's running in circles. This maze is just beating him. And this is, where I say, my question is, why wouldn't he just blast the walls down? He did this once before. He was weaker then. And it turns out General White has total control over the maze, so he can shuffle walls around just to block the exit. Even more reason to blast the fuck out of the walls. Oh, I'll just shuffle these rooms around, or the walls around. Oh, it doesn't matter because there's a big gaping hole in this one. Just when it seems like Goku's met his match, however, Android 8 reappears and offers to guide him through the maze. And I really just like Android 8. I'm like, he's probably as good as Master Roshi and Nam. And this is where Goku starts calling him Ader. And it's pretty cute, and I like it. And so does Ader, because he keeps repeating it to himself over and over again.
Yeah, he really likes it. It's probably like the first time he's also been treated nicely in the Muscle Tower.
Oh yeah,
Perchance, yeah.
I'm gonna bet that he was created and then immediately chained up.
Yeah.
He's probably super strong. Like he's probably legitimately strong enough to
Did
beat
you did
Goku.
do we have to go back to when he flexed his neck?
Hey man, I've got that scene like gift, so I can just look at it whenever I want.
Now that I think about it, about Goku destroying the walls, he did not hesitate to destroy Emperor Pilaf's castle.
Oh no, that's what I was talking about. Like
Yeah,
he could have,
like
he could do this. Maybe he's since he
what's
doesn't know
stopping
what's
him?
coming next. He's like conserving energy
Eh.
because we do get a line later on where he's like, "Man, I'd love to do this, but I get real hungry when I do it."
Mm.
While Goku and Ader mosey on through the maze, we have a quick cut back to Sano's family, where they have an existential crisis about what the army will do once they find the Dragon Ball. Like, her parents are silently contemplating that they'll probably get smoked by the end of all of this. They're like, oh, what are they gonna do? They'll get what they want, but they're so ruthless and mean, and we can't survive if they decide to just go apeshit on us. And I'm like, oh, all right. It cuts to Sano herself while like her family is panicking, and she's just like got Goku on the brain. Like she's just thinking
Hmm.
about Goku, having little flashbacks to things that they said, moments that they've shared. And fun fact: every once in a while, I like to look up the characters to see if there's any little tidbits to learn
Yep.
about them. And for Suno, like 100% of the fan art of her is Suno Goku shipping pictures.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, oh yeah. Suno Dragon Ball, and it's like here's some uh, Wikipedia art or like Dragon Ball wiki article, whatever, Google images, and I'm like, aha, all right. Didn't realize that that was super popular. I guess it is. But yes, this is where we cut back to the maze. Ader and Goku get swarmed by soldiers, and they get into a little scuffle. Most impressive is Goku's ability to dodge machine gun fire.
That was insane. Goku is just sick of getting shot at this point, so now he just dodge.
Yeah, he's got the skills now. And these guys are nameless goons, so I mean they're not gonna offer a real challenge.
Mm-mm.
So they go down in a flash. And Ader runs into the same dead ends as Goku earlier, but he knows where the stairs are supposed to be. So he kind of figures out the trick with the rotating wall panel that General White's got control over. And what a shitty trap! Can I just say, this is one of the dumbest traps I think I've ever seen, like in any kind of dungeon. Like, did they seriously not expect there to be more than one intruder at any given time? Like, what happens when a small army? What if a group of people from the village stormed Muscle Tower and made it to this point? They get to the maze. You got like what 15 people in this maze? They're gonna find the exit.
Did you see? Do you see how many times he presses the button in order for
It's
it to
super
move?
slow. Someone's gonna notice this.
He has to mash the button. I don't know if he's mashing it to make it go faster or he just enjoys it.
Yeah, so they figure this out and they're like, "Oh, we gotta quick run around to the other side." And then he sees it like lock into place and then he's like, "All right, you go over there. I'm going to stay here." And they trick General White
Mhm.
and they make it through and General White's all upset about it. I'm like,
Oh, it gets even more bullshit before they enter. They have a scene where the end where they're gonna go is they split up and Goku goes to where it's fully open
mm-hmm.
or where it's going to be fully open and it starts closing in on Ader. But from Ader's point of view, it looks like it's almost closed. But Ader runs so fast that his body somehow makes it in time to fit through that gap.
He jumps sideways through it,
Yeah.
which is pretty great.
But from
like,
his point of view, it was basically shut by the time he should have gotten there.
In actuality, Ader is just like a sheet of paper. As Ader and Goku make their way up, they talk about the secret of the fifth floor, and there's no door to get in there. And in the business, we call this Chekhov's gun. It's where you tell an audience something in passing that you're totally going to use later on in the story. It's like, oh yeah, the fifth floor, there's no door, it's spooky, it makes all these noises, we don't go there, but thankfully, we don't have to go there. And then that's cluing your audience into the fact that, guess what? We're totally going to the fifth floor later.
I just don't understand. Okay, no, these are stairway. Okay, now it makes sense. I was like, how can there be a floor in between two floors? Wouldn't that just be considered another floor? But then
Yeah.
it just hit me that there could be stairs on the side of the floors. Yep.
And for the first time, Goku and General White come face to face at the top of the tower. White tries to goad Ader into killing Goku by pulling the, oh, we created you, you have to do what we say kind of shtick, but, Ader's based. So he doesn't have to listen to that.
Yeah. At first, I thought he was actually going to start, like, turning on Goku. Because they made it all dramatic when General White was like, do it for the army.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, like, hits him. I don't know why it hits him. Like, mentally.
Maybe he did have, like, some kind of, like, my programming is telling me to kill, but morally I'm better than that, so I don't have to.
Yeah, I'll just override it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Goku's just itching to fight General White. Before anything can happen, General White pushes a button and a trapdoor opens up, dropping Goku and Ader into level 5. And wouldn't you know it, they set up level 5 and paid off for it later. That's pretty snazzy storytelling, don't you think? And also, when I take my notes, I pause the video. But when I stop the video for my last note here, the narrator just said, uh-oh. And so I was just like, all right, pause. So, Goku and Ader fall down the trap. Narrator goes, uh-oh, pause. Long silence. Like, oh, the episode's over. And now I kind of want, like, an episode where that's just legitimately how the narrator signs off. Like, holy shit. Credits. But that leads us into the final episode this week, which is episode 40, the horrifying Bouillon. And this episode starts off with a whole-ass recap of this entire Muscle Tower mini arc. Like, from the very beginning of Suno saving Goku. And I just thought that was odd.
I don't know, maybe it's just to help remind the viewers how far Goku's come to this point.
You do think, like, oh, is this an arc in and of itself? But no, you're still in the Red Ribbon arc.
Yeah.
But this is just the Muscle Tower part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. A little weird, but helpful for people that aren't paying attention. Goku does a cool flip right before landing on the dreaded and terrifying floor 5. But then Ader just crushes him with his massive Frankenstein body. Always love that shit. They look around the entire place, and it's just littered with fucking bones and skulls, and Goku's like, ew. General White tries to extort the Dragon Balls and the Dragon Radar from Goku. But he's the hero, and he doesn't want to give up to terrorist demands, so they are currently locked inside. And Goku's totally busted out of jams like this before. Like,
oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a problem. Like, when he beat up Murasaki, he punched him once and threw him into the wall, like, with enough force to crack the wall. He could probably break out of here pretty easily. Ader immediately thinks that anyone collecting Dragon Balls have to be bad. Like, they gotta be bad guys. But Goku's got a noble cause for finding his. He just wants his grandpa's ball. That's all that he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And Ader's a pretty good barometer for goodness. Which is good, because, our previous barometer for goodness, the Nimbus, kind of exploded. He's not around anymore. We can't tell who's good. And, like, I made that note myself. But also at the same time, I'm like, oh shit, that's right, we don't have the Nimbus. While they're trapped down there, the walls start to lift up to reveal a legitimate goddamn monster in the darkness. Like, we've seen monsters in things like Jiren before, but you could tell that those dudes were, like, more based on dinosaurs or, other animals. This thing is just a big monster. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
Man, Because like, what do I start? We could say it's pink
He's
with a
big, scary, and pink.
green tongue.
Little antennas, real big fat body that kind of like it's got like penguin legs where the belly
Yeah,
goes over the legs, and I'm not a fan, to be completely honest.
I don't know. I thought because it was like a silhouette when it was showing it was eating inside its cage before it opened up, so it looked like a giant gorilla first. Not just the Saiyan gorilla, just a regular gorilla from the jungle or something.
hmm
Until it showed itself. I was like, well,
Yeah,
damn.
when it's in shadow, you see it from behind, and it's using its long green tongue to like slurp out and like suck the meat right off the bones. Like all it's doing is like eating all this shit. It's got a nice big meaty tail, and Ader accidentally backs into a bone and makes a sound, making it turn around to reveal its hot pink body. Not hot pink body, a hot pink body. And Ader is very scared of this monster. The antenna that's coming out of its head, they got like the little slug antenna coming off of it. That is a Toriyama design staple. I'm sure you've noticed anytime Piccolo takes off his turban, he's got
Hmm.
the little antenna that come out. Looks exactly like that.
That reminds me. It's, growing up or in my childhood, I remember one of my uncles gave me an action figure of Piccolo. But the thing is, I had no idea who this was.
He was just a cool green man.
It was a cool green guy. It was a really big action figure too, actually. Like this thing was like how big are action figures normally? Actually, I don't know.
There's a couple of different sizes, but if you're making note of it being like a big one, there are a couple of pretty big Dragon Ball action figures.
Okay.
Actually, B has a Goku and a Gohan. That's like
Oh.
they're like a foot tall almost. Like they're
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
big.
It was like that. But a Piccolo.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I um I don't know if I still have that, to be honest. Yeah.
You know,
I wish I still had it with me. I wish I kept it. I wish I knew who that was. As a kid.
could you tell me right now, did Piccolo have an accessory turban and like cape,
He
or
did.
he did?
He did.
Oh,
He
that's
did.
so cool.
He did. And you were able to bend his legs, his knees, his arms, and all that stuff. And like they were able to stay in that position because the joints were tight enough too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that always gets me, and I don't know if this is like the general consensus or not, but like
Hmm.
Dragon Ball fans seem to like it when Piccolo is not wearing the turban and the cape. And I'm the
Really?
exact opposite because I think that cape looks fucking good. Like he's got the big shoulders. It makes him look real broad. The white kind of breaks up his design really well, and the
Hmm.
turban looks cool and it gives him a cool design. And he always, he takes it off in every fight. And in the video games, usually they'll have it where he's got the cape off, and I'm like, but I want the cape on.
If I recall, I think you were able to take them off as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I knew was I was I played with this toy a decent amount to where Piccolo was getting scuffed in some
Yeah,
areas,
yeah.
and one of his antennas came off. I broke it
No,
off.
you've ruined the resale value.
And that's why it's suddenly like when you mentioned Piccolo and the antennas, I remembered it.
Unlocked that core
Yeah,
memory.
yeah, I broke one of the antennas.
See, that's the beauty of the show. You're like, oh wait a minute, Dragon Ball's so big. I had a Dragon Ball toy without actually knowing what it was.
But because it was so big
Hmm.
and I was like a child, it was kind of heavy too. So I
Okay.
remember actually this figure actually pinching the hell out of me with some of the joints.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was actually a problem that like I had with toys. I would always get my like, what would you call that? Like the webbing of your thumb, like in between your index finger and your thumb. There's that little piece of skin. Like, I would get that pinched in joints all the time, and fuck.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
Like,
know exactly
they
what you're fucking
hurt.
talking about.
And I'm pretty sure Piccolo was the one that gave me the most of those pinches.
All right, all right. Back in the show,
Yeah, yeah.
we cut back to Suno's place, and she's lying awake in bed, and we get another cute little flashback to some key Goku moments that she experienced. And, I can see why I was getting that kind of shipping artwork when I looked up her character, because, like, yeah, they're cute together. I can see why people would want them to get together.
But I heard when you could have the Ox King's
The Ox
daughter.
King's daughter, she's already prepped for marriage. Like, Suno hears a sound and checks under her bed to see a squeaky little thing.
I literally yelled, "What is that?"
It's tiny, it's pink and fluffy, and I audibly said, "What the fuck is that?"
I I did too. I was like, "What is that?"
Like, it's tiny,
like-
tiny.
And then I was like, I was starting to brainstorm really hard, like so hard. I was like, "Is this the pink monster's child or something?"
Oh,
And
that
then-
would have been a nice little cut together.
And then Sinnoh was like, "Oh, are you lost, little guy? Where are your parents? They're gonna be worried."
That
Bam,
only helped
they cut
the
to the-
theory.
They cut to the parents, and they're living inside her walls. I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, it's. Wow, I was like, boy, way to have no stakes in this conflict and serve no purpose.
Yeah. So this is what I question: why do we keep cutting back to this family? And then I asked the second time after the pink one gets back to its family, and they kind of just went with their night in their hole.
Into their mouse hole.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck were they?
We don't know. We'll never know. They're kind
was
of like
hoping
mice. Obviously.
I wanted to say that. Yeah, like Dragon Ball version of mice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that Sinnoh wasn't like afraid of them or anything. Or
Suno's a good kid.
yeah,
And yeah, like you had said, what purpose did that serve? We're back with Goku. Goku, Ader, and the monster, who is now just showing off how nasty it can be by eating an entire cow skull like it's no big deal. General White dubs the monster Bouillon, one of the most terrifying creatures in the world, and Goku is not scared. Also, I don't know if this was a detail in any previous shot, but General White is seen here smoking a pipe. Like, we saw him drinking out of a flask before, but I don't think we've ever seen him smoking a pipe, have we?
not that I can recall. No. Maybe in his introduction, because he was.
Oh, maybe.
They're kind of showing him off to be some like badass type of dude. Drinking his alcohol from
On the job.
on the job from a flask, has his feet up, saying he'll get the job done right.
Yeah. Colonel Silver, more like Colonel Dumbass. Got him.
I was actually, because the title of this episode is called "A Horrifying Bouillon." I didn't know what the bouillon was, so I searched it up. I was like, define bouillon. I couldn't find anything except on the right side of Google. It's just a picture of a green blob, and it's super small.
A green blob that's super small?
I mean pink. I was looking
pink
at his
blob.
tongue when I said that.
Oh, so it just showed you a picture of the Dragon Ball character.
Yeah.
I think it's named after, like, the soup cube. Like a bouillon cube.
Search that up.
Like, it's,
Bouillon
Bullion.
Okay.
It's like to make your own soup stock.
I
You
can
can
see
get
that.
like beef and chicken and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
Toriyama likes to name things after food. And
That would make a lot more sense. Yeah, I can see this then. Like, I see it's like a daishi stock or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
The fight begins, and Goku dodges a tail slam right out of the gate, and he counters by jumping off the wall and punching a dent right into Bouillon's fucking face, which is a hell of an opening move. That being said, he just kind of bounces off and his face smushes back out like nothing happened. Like, it even does like the kind of sound. He tries a kick next, but gets similar results. He's just too fat and jiggly to sustain any real damage. And he bounces Goku into the wall. Like he splats him. And there's a couple of times, I want to say in this episode, where like the music starts kicking up. And either it's like, oh, it's danger, or like, oh, this is a Goku moment. Like it's playing Mystic Adventure. And then it kind of slaps him out of the way and hits him into the wall, and the music just stops. I always like that joke.
I just like how the whole time when Goku like fights the Bouillon,
Mm-hmm.
Ader's just freaking out the whole time.
Well, he's scared. He doesn't want to get eaten. He can't fight it. He doesn't know what to do.
It's just the ironic, like, you got the little guy fighting when you got the big guy in fear.
Also, the big guy who was supposed to kill the little guy, General White claims that Bouillon is invincible, but Goku is determined to find a way to beat him. And Bouillon's antennae start to spark, and they zap Goku with electricity. And he howls in pain, and General White laughs. And then they cut to commercial. And then it cuts back, and he's still getting zapped. Like, he's screaming in pain. It's sustained. It's hard to listen to. And then he goes, ba 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 da, da ba da 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 da. The fun commercial music. Ah, it's such a good way to cut away from the action to cut back to it. Even better if you were watching this like on actual TV, that would have meant that Goku was getting shocked to shit. Then they had like a couple minutes of commercial, and then it cut back and he was still getting electrocuted. He drops to the ground, and Ader's more concerned about being eaten himself. But when Bouillon extends his gross green tongue, that could most certainly get all up in your business, he goes straight for Goku.
Reels him in with his tongue, like a Fruity Loop, kind of like how
a fruit roll up.
Fruit roll up, yeah.
Fruit by the foot. That's what.
Yeah, that one. The fruit by the foot, it just rolls him in, like licky tongue.
Yeah, and he straight up starts eating him, like he's chewing on him. This makes General White very happy, and he's laughing, and he's like, "Oh, Bouillon, you're making me hungry." And I'm like, "Oh, great, he's a cannibal now." You fucking creep. Bouillon's on his way to eat up Ader next, who hides like a dog does, where he puts his head down, puts his hands, like, up over his face.
Yeah.
But something's not quite right. And Goku fucking power lifts Bouillon's mouth open from the inside, like the fucking champ he is. And, like, I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't remember how Goku gets out of this. Like, does he punch out Bouillon's teeth and, like, escape that way? No, and then he starts like chewing on him, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, I don't remember how he gets out. By squatting and lifting up, unhinging his jaw. It's a power move, that's for sure. Bouillon tries to zap him again, but Goku learns from all his fights now, and he's like, oh, I'm not gonna let that happen again. Which is cool, because it's like, you can't pull the same trick twice. Fool me once.
Is switching it up.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't be fooled again. Is this the first fight outside of the tournament that Goku has to, like, think? Usually he just kind of, like, powers his way through any enemy, but here he's talking to himself about how he's not, nothing that he's doing is working, I can't keep dodging, and now I'm hungry, so, like, I'm on the back foot, I'm in trouble. He's, like, thinking everything through.
Yeah, I'd say so. He probably learned his lesson with Master Roshi lookalike from the tournament when they went for the cross-leg kick.
Jackie Chun?
Jackie Chun, yeah. His legs were longer.
Completely original character, Jackie Chun?
Last-minute strike.
Yep.
Yeah, legs were longer.
Goku thinks to bust out the Kamehameha wave, even though it makes him really hungry. He even says, sorry, tummy, but here it goes. And that's cute. And yeah, this is where I'm like, he's like rationing his power. He knows that he's going to be hungry if he tries to throw this Kamehameha wave out. And I think that he was kind of like holding it. He could have probably beaten some other characters if he had used more Kamehameha waves, but he'd be too hungry for this endurance round.
Yeah, it's like his last gambit. So if he were to use this, he'd probably have nothing left, you know?
Oh, and he uses it. And he fucking blasts Bouillon with it. Like,
Oh man,
it looks real big and fierce, and then it just kind of bounces off.
Here's my question though. I was waiting for an explosion after it bounces off. Where did it go? I was
maybe
waiting for it to like destroy part of the tower,
maybe
but
it's
nothing.
maybe it's the kind of thing that, like, you know, if you scatter light, how it dims, because you know, it's not concentrated into a single point or whatever.
Hmm.
So maybe that's what happened when he scattered it by bouncing it off his big belly. It got really weak because it spread.
I see. Like it sucked. It was able to take in the impact.
Hmm. Take in the impact, and then any like residual energy dispersed outward.
I guess, but it was a big ball that bounced off him still.
I I don't know. Bouillon is fucking invincible.
I was kind of waiting for him to do like a belly slap that King K. Rool does.
So like, you know, it bounced right off, and he's like, "Ha ha!" Slap.
Yeah.
Like, this is my pride and joy. Goku squeaks out a little, "No." And he is shocked that his ultimate technique has done nothing against this big, jiggling, giggling monster. That's the thing. Bouillon just keeps laughing to himself. He's like, and I'm like, God, shut up. General White offers them one last chance to hand over the balls, but Goku sticks to his guns, thinking that they can still squeak out a win somehow. Bouillon is ordered to attack, and then he slurps up Ader, and Goku goes into full panic mode in an attempt to save Ader before he's fully gobbled up.
Hmm.
This is like one of the first instances of genuine terror I think I've ever seen Goku express. Like, sure, he's had like the funny hijinks fear of like being chased by dinosaurs or sharks and stuff like that, but this was like oh god, my friend is literally legitimately going to get eaten kind of
Yeah.
fear. Somewhere in this whole like back and forth of what they're gonna do, Goku gets hit in the face with a rock, which is funny. But yeah, Goku's really on the back foot here. He is running out of options. He even tries his signature move, headbutting into Bouillon's stomach, which does absolutely nothing, and of course spits him back out, pinballing him across the room.
And after I saw him try that attempt, I actually literally out like said why, like just a little bit.
Why? Why'd you do that? I'm telling you, it's his signature move.
I know it's a signature move. No way it would do more damage than the Kami way.
I think he's getting desperate. I think
That is true. He had no other energy anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the part where it had the music playing, and then when he hit the wall, the music stopped. And Ader says that they should just give up. But Goku says, Grandpa Gohan taught me to always have hope. And it's been a while since that we've heard, like, from old dead man sage advice. But even more about that, I absolutely love Ader's response. He's like, oh, okay. Like, I guess we'll have hope. And I made a big note about this, so hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Goku, at this point, has a coherent thought process. For the first time in the franchise, he straight up talks himself through it. Like, I could beat Bouillon if he wasn't so flabby and bouncy. Then looks at the camera and says, wait a minute, and has a fucking flashback to when he was frozen and thawing out at Suno's house. And he's like nodding to himself proudly before declaring, I've got it all figured out. And I'm like, way to go, Goku! You thought! I didn't believe it. And his plan? Calmly waltz over to the wall and punch a hole through it in a single blow. Like a Chad.
that wall broke so easily too.
He's like, hip, smash. All right, I
And
did it.
you can see like a clear view of the outside too. It's
hmm
dark, but you can still see a decent amount of that hole he made.
hmm And that's when the cold air starts to blow into the room. And yeah, he's pretty proud of himself, but then he remembers, I'm cold. And hey, you shouldn't have gotten rid of that baller coat, Goku, just saying. You could have kept that great coat, had a good design. At least the hat would have helped. Buyan also takes notice of the cold and does not seem to like it. And thankfully, Ader isn't affected by temperatures at all, so Goku gets to hide in his jacket. Buyan turns a bluish tint as he literally starts to freeze.
He's freezing to death. Like he's turning blue. He's like getting frostbite.
Yeah. And once he's cold enough, Goku delivers a really solid kick before running back into the safety of Ader's jacket. And he's so solid now, and he's so cold now, that Buyan starts to crack and crumble from the impact of this kick, and literally disintegrates. Like, he falls apart in, like, chunklets. And I'm just, like, imagining, like, frozen meat. It's not a pleasant look.
Nah, it's and plus Bouillon was like a pinkish color before he got frostbite and frozen,
Oh, yeah.
and he must have been like really like flabby, and I can kind of imagine what he felt like too, with how fast he froze.
hmm
His tissues must be like skin tissues must be like so sensitive.
How did he get in there?
Don't know. They probably raised that monster from like a little boy up until that size. unless
Maybe they brought
he
him
could
from
just
somewhere else, like in a big...
unless he could squish.
When they were... No. Nope. Because Muscle Tower had been there before, right? Didn't they... I think they said something like, oh, they've commandeered Muscle Tower. They didn't build Muscle Tower, did they?
Don't know.
Things to think about. No, we don't have to think about... Like, these are only things that I would think about. Like, it's not important at all.
No, but it's just a habit you develop sometimes when you're watching and reading stuff. You know, you ask
Like,
questions.
hey, how did that happen? Where
Yeah,
did this guy come from?
but part of that's due to my English teacher for having me do that too.
Goku and Ader are very happy about killing today.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a win in my book as Goku writes off Boyon's name and his
Murder.
notepad.
I mean, sure, he's a monster and he tried to eat you, but still. General White is not happy about the murder that happened today.
Oh no. And Goku's still not done as he launches and headbutts the ceiling.
That is one of the best moves. He's like, now then, smash!
Like right after he gets rid of Boyan, it just pans back to Goku jumping straight up back to the 6th floor, smashing another hole in the floor.
Yeah, he
doesn't-
didn't use the
he doesn't-
trapdoor or anything.
he
He
didn't use
just
the
made his
trapdoor.
own hole. His head is one of the most useful elements of his character.
and then he uses the his staff
Yep.
to extend down to bring up Ader. And as he pulls up Ader, I'm like, General White pulls out a gun and starts shooting 2 shots on Goku, and yells, "Bullets don't even affect him." And I'm like, that's what I said in episode 1.
Try to keep up, General. You know what my favorite part about that is?
What's up?
When he gets shot, Goku kind of turns his head and says, "Hey, that stings," in a nonplussed voice. And I'm just like, boy, that's a mild annoyance. I mean, he's more resilient. Like, when he was shot in episode 1, you know, he got laid out.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it just kind of bounces and grazes off of him. Yeah, he's like, what the fuck, man? Bullets don't hurt you? And Goku says, yeah, they hurt, so stop it.
I was kind of hoping when Goku finishes pulling up Ader, the Ader's still hanging onto the stick, and he just swings Ader at the end of it.
Oh, unfortunately not. You can't beat a motherfucker with another motherfucker in this instance.
Because being able to lift Ader up from the floor below shows that Goku is at least strong enough to hold him
Oh yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that Goku's more focused on his friend than something trivial like, bullets. With Ader safely up with him, Goku demands that the general lets the village chief go before the narrator starts to close out the episode, giving us an idea as to, what's going to be happening in the next episode. But yes, that will do it. Goku has made it to the top of the tower, and the end is in sight. And I do remember a little bit of stuff after the tower, but after that, it's still kind of a blur. So I'm still very excited about where we're going here.
I have no idea where this series is leading me.
Like, you can't even predict what
No,
could
I
happen
can't.
next. And that's the beauty of it, I think. Like, this series has been so kind of nutso that, oh, we're in the snow place. What could happen at the snow place? Oh, that's very exciting. Ninja, Terminator, Frankenstein, Fat Monster.
And it's just the pace of how the series goes sometimes where you can't even like figure out when or where my predictions will go. How far should I even try to predict?
You could make a prediction and there's a possibility that it'll happen in 50 episodes.
But regardless, I think the best thing to do is just to sit back and just enjoy the ride.
Oh yeah, it is definitely a ride. But
Yeah.
I do want you to make a wild prediction. Doesn't matter what it's about. I just want you to say something that you think might be crazy. Doesn't matter when it happens. Like if it happens, I want you to make some kind of prediction.
Man, I can't think of anything right now. But I do like telling my like what I think is going to happen because of what has happened, you know?
Yeah.
Man, I want to say it has to do something with the mayor, but it's possible the mayor is gonna still be completely useless until the end of this mini arc, in this Red Ribbon arc.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he does anything. I think he's completely useless.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I cannot for the life of me remember a single thing that the mayor does. Which is
Does
fantastic.
Does the mayor even help the village in the end?
Like I said, I think that they're doing just fine without him. I want him to come back and be like, my beautiful village. Oh, how did you fare without me? And they're like, oh, you were gone?
Because we didn't have you.
Yeah, we're doing better. I don't think we need you anymore.
But now that you're here, feeling like shit.
You know what? Get back up in that tower. That would be great. They imprison him. Now, I fondly remembered Ninja Shenanigans when before I had even started watching this one. I was like, oh yeah, this one's gonna be good. That whole part of this set was just stupid fun. And I don't think I remembered Bouillon at all, because all he did was like laugh to himself the entire time they fought. Like
I was fine. I was some kind of monster.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't particularly see him as anything special. In fact, my criteria for what makes like a legitimate filler episode is where are you at the beginning of the episode, where are you at the end of the episode. And pretty much at the beginning of this last episode, Goku and Ader were facing off against General White. And at the end of the episode, they're facing off against General White. Like nothing
Okay,
was
fair
gained. So I'm not upset. I still like the episode, but it's one of those kinds of episodes for me.
Gotcha.
So how did you feel about this set of 4 episodes here?
It certainly did feel like filler. because of all the shenanigans, you know. But then again, it's hard to say because Dragon Ball is always full of shenanigans.
See, this is why I'm like, hey, as long as the filler's fun, I don't care. Like it's
Hmm. No, I like fillers when it comes to the episode when it's done well. You
Mhm.
know, it could be good, there could be bad, and I did like the set of episodes with with Murasaki, uh, and his brothers, especially the gun with the guy with the gun in the southern accent.
I don't
Because
remember.
without,
Is he the one with the gun?
no, he's not.
No, he's not. Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to check because the guy I think because the last one was the fifth one with the southern accent. And I think like the second or the third one literally introduced himself as the second or third one while holding the gun,
Okay.
while holding the gun up. I believe, if I can recall.
I am the second Murasaki brother. Gun. Next time, we are going to watch episodes 41 through 44, which is The Fall of Muscle Tower and going to Master Thief Haski. And right now, I'm remembering Haski and thinking, oh, hell yeah. Haski has a cool design, and I can't wait.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, you'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I when Haski's revealed, I was like, oh shit, this looks like something that I would want in a design. So it's good. It's good shit. I always enjoy Dragon Ball, even with some of the slower stuff. So having like some good comedy action in the first half of this one, and then kind of going to the maze is a little slower, or going to the Bouillon fight is like a lot of back and forth, just trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
They always have goofy ideas. Doesn't matter how fast or slow it is, it's always goofy or interesting segments. So this is always the highlight of my day anytime we do this. Do you have anything else before you want to close out?
Well, I think this is a good way to end this today's episode of our podcast.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all at. Oh, um, hang on. Call from my therapist. Hello?
All right, guys.
No,
Thanks
I'm just
for
finishing
tuning
up my
in,
podcast with my
guys.
friend here. No, the Asian one.
Oh,
You can't say that. Jesus Christ. Well, I know that's how he looks, but you can't just assume that.
did he say I look like the rabbit from
No.
Family Guy?
Okay, fine. I love you too. Okay, bye. Phoup, this is unrelated, but if you get a call later from my therapist, it's probably best if you just say that you don't know me. No
I'm not,
reason.
oh, I'm not the Asian boy.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Hmm.
Okay, so we'll see you all next time on our amazingly incredible. Oh God, I have to call someone else. I gotta cancel a hit.